CNN being a place of credibility. I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think CNN puts resources behind things and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else.
Bill Maher, who took no prisoners as he absolutely blasted Kaitlan Collins and CNN for their one-sided, biased reporting. This clash was about as entertaining as it gets, and we're diving into the drama that unfolded live. Trust me, you won't want to miss this breakdown of how Bill Maher flipped the script and exposed Kaitlan's agenda for all to see.
You would ask VP Harris if you had the chance. Ooh.
I would have a lot of questions for her, but I do think I would ask about, where she stood when she was running as a candidate and for the 2020 Democratic primary and where she stands on a lot of issues now.
Now, you'll know Bill Maher is no stranger to controversy. He's never been shy about calling out hypocrisy, especially when it comes to the media. But this time, the stakes were higher than ever. Kaitlan Collins, the CNN darling, tried to take on Maher, but ended up getting completely schooled. Stay tuned because this is going to be good. It all started innocently enough, with Kaitlan Collins, CNN's golden girl, doing what she does best, pushing the anti-Trump narrative. She was on a mission to paint Trump's legal battles in the worst possible light, and she thought she could use Bill Maher as her stage. What could possibly go wrong? Well, Bill Maher saw her coming from a mile away. Kaitlan started with the classic, "What do you think about President Trump and his legal issues?" routine. "Oh, Kaitlan, did you really think Bill Maher was going to entertain that line of questioning?" You know Maher doesn't hold back. He answered her calmly, saying, "Look, Kaitlan, we've got to be careful here. I'm not about to speculate on things that I don't know about. But let's talk about what really matters here."
She's criticized a lot by Republicans for reversing her positions. I think also, Donald Trump has reversed a lot of his positions from covering those. But I think I would be interested in her evolution and where her instincts are and what she learned from governing with a moderate.
Boom. Just like that, Maher deflected her agenda and reminded her that there are bigger issues at play. Instead of getting trapped in her baited questions about Trump, he focused on the real story, the corruption, the hypocrisy, and how the media, especially CNN, has done everything in its power to keep Trump down. Kaitlan wasn't prepared for that. She's used to controlling the narrative, using her carefully scripted questions to make people stumble. But with Maher, she was out of her league. When Kaitlan tried to throw in another cheap shot, claiming that Trump was struggling with the idea of debating, Maher saw through her. He laughed it off, saying, "It's not about debating. It's about facing the truth. And the truth is, Trump's numbers speak for themselves." Biden's administration has been a disaster.
ABC debate.
If it happens, I still think it's an open question.
Really?
Trump's going to go. He's got to.
You think Trump is going to pull out?
I think Trump is nervous about it. I think I talked to a lot of sources in his world. I think he has really struggled with it. It's not just a narrative or a talking point from Democrats.
He wasn't wrong. Bill Maher knew the game Kaitlan was playing. She was spinning everything into a narrative where Trump was already beaten before the debate even started. She wasn't giving Trump the chance to defend himself. She was just projecting a scenario where he was destined to fail. But Maher wasn't having it. "You can't just write him off," Maher said. "That's not how this works." Let's look at the facts. Gas prices, grocery prices, the economy. Under Trump, things were better. Period. And let's be real for a second. Kaitlan had no response to that. Maher dropped those facts like a mic drop, and she couldn't pick it back up. This wasn't about debating the past. It was about confronting the reality of the present. Trump's policies might have been controversial, but they made a difference in people's everyday lives. And Maher made sure Kaitlan couldn't avoid that reality. But wait, it gets better. Maher saw exactly what Kaitlan was trying to do. He knew the anti-Trump narrative was just an attempt to stir up the left-wing base, so he flipped the script yet again. Instead of letting Kaitlan continue her biased talking points, Maher took the conversation straight to CNN's biased coverage. And here's where Kaitlan had no leg to stand on.
He really has struggled with how to combat her. And I think going into that debate, he does not really want to do it. I think it's difficult, if not impossible, for him to pull out at anywhere, anytime, any place for President Biden, and it would look weak. But I don't think he's looking forward to it at this point.
Maher, with a calm yet firm tone, asked, "Why does CNN only seem to focus on what's bad about Trump? Why is it that when Trump's in the news, it's always about the worst-case scenario? Why do you ignore the other side of the story?" He wasn't just throwing a rhetorical question out there. He was exposing the truth about CNN's agenda and their one-sided reporting. He pointed out the glaring difference between how the media covers Republicans versus Democrats, and it was crystal clear to anyone paying attention. At this point, it was clear as day. Kaitlan's entire focus was on Trump. Everything that came out of her mouth had something to do with Trump. Whether it was his legal battles, his debates, or even his policies. She couldn't escape the man's shadow, and Maher was calling her out for it. Maher straight up told Kaitlan, "Let's be real here. You're obsessed with Trump. It's all you talk about, and it's all CNN talks about. You've got an entire network based on Trump hatred, and the crazy part, you can't even admit it." Oof, talk about dropping a truth bomb. Kaitlan didn't know what to say, and Maher could see her scrambling for her next response. But there was no way out. Bill Maher had just exposed the elephant in the room. CNN's entire agenda was to smear Trump, no matter what the cost.
Conservative in America, and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road. That's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look, I mean, and when you see the path, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there.
By this point, Kaitlan's facade was cracking. Her carefully constructed narrative had fallen apart, and she was left trying to defend her one-sided views. But the truth was undeniable. Bill Maher had just dismantled her, point by point, while she floundered, unable to counter the facts. The audience watching the interview could feel the shift. Maher wasn't just standing his ground, he was owning the conversation. But here's the kicker. After this intense exchange, Kaitlan tried to get the last word in, but Maher wouldn't let her. He brought the conversation back to where it mattered, the issues Americans actually care about. He reminded her that there's more to politics than the media circus surrounding Trump, and that's when Kaitlan knew she was outmatched. Once this interview hit the airwaves, it didn't take long for social media to light up. Memes, comments, and tweets started flooding in, all praising Bill Maher for calling out CNN and Kaitlan Collins for their obvious bias. This wasn't just another political discussion. This was a moment of reckoning for the media. People were sick of the spin, the fake neutrality, and the constant anti-Trump rhetoric that dominated every CNN broadcast. Bill Maher's comments made it clear that CNN isn't fooling anyone. The network's attempt to maintain the illusion of impartiality had been shattered. Maher had done something rare. He exposed the media's true agenda in real time, and Kaitlan had nothing left to say in defense of her network's practices. So, what happens next? Does CNN finally wake up and start delivering the fair and balanced news they claim to provide? Or will they double down on their left-wing bias, knowing that their ratings are slipping and their credibility is tanking? One thing is for sure. After this clash with Bill Maher, Kaitlan Collins and the network she represents will have a lot of explaining to do. Now, here's where we want to hear from you. Did Bill Maher handle Kaitlan Collins' attacks the right way? Was he right to call out her one-sided views and CNN's bias? And most importantly, what do you think about the future of CNN and mainstream media? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to know where you stand on this fiery exchange. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the latest political drama. Trust me, this story isn't over, and you won't want to miss the next explosive take. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and remember, truth always wins in the end.